Where's my waveform at? Where are my waveforms at? There they are. Solidly between 0.5 and negative 0.5. That's where it's supposed to be. It's a sweet spot. I hear.
What's a waveform?
I had to stop and think for a second, what is that word? I think I only recently learned that word. I think that's what the little shape of the sound shapes can be called.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
Unless
sense.
I'm just
They are
making that up.
waveforms.
I feel like I heard someone say it, and I was like, that sounds cool.
I mean, in my old recordings, I always tried to get them to 2 on both ends, just because I knew it made your life easier.
2? Isn't it caps out at 1 on Audacity?
Yeah. Not if you unlock the special feature.
I see.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. I got you. You're joshing with me here. I'm going to close
Never
a bunch
got
of
what
tabs.
that whole joshing with you thing came from, but I remember people said it a lot.
Yeah, I never even thought about to look up where the origin of that is. I should.
You know, a lot of people are saying that the Artemis mission was faked.
From the hit movie
Recorded in
that
a
we're
green
talking
screen.
about?
No, I mean the recent moon mission over the past 2 weeks.
Oh, the real space thing.
Yeah. It's already being debated as a conspiracy. Whole thing made up by NASA. NASA just trying to get that government funding. They want that Pentagon funding to come to them, so they're just filming shit again.
They raised Stanley Kubrick from the grave. Do another video.
They would deserve extra, what do you call when you get more tax money? I want to say incentives, but that's not the word I'm looking for. If they could raise Stanley Kubrick from the grave, they would deserve whatever we could give them.
Yeah, I'd let a bit slide if they brought back the master. And then we could find out for sure if he was really trying to warn us about Epstein with Eyes Wide Shut, like so many people seem to think.
I think he was actually just trying to warn us about rich people in general.
Yeah, that's what I would go with as well. I don't think he had any secret knowledge of specifically Epstein stuff.
I assume there's more Epsteins in the world. And there always has been.
Oh, yeah. There's probably worse ones, too.
And they'll never, ever be punished, because they're God's chosen people, apparently.
They're all from a certain patch of desert occupied by Eastern Europeans who invented hummus.
I do like hummus. Apparently, J.M. Young has been complaining about the atrocities in Israel for 11 years. People dug up some stuff earlier today.
Oh, interesting. I did not see any of that.
And you know what? That tells me the man just has a heart and doesn't like to see atrocities. He was a human rights lawyer before becoming the president of Korea. He was a human rights lawyer,
right.
And he worked on those type of cases. So,
wonder if any of the people in the current Israeli cabinet were perversely human rights lawyers before they joined the Knesset or whatever.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
But what they consider humans different than what everyone else considers human.
Right. They make distinctions. There's humans, there's human animals, and there's animals. And then there's Palestinians way at the bottom.
Humans are a very select group.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Right. Well, welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast that says DoorDash, more like Door Fash. It is 9:18 post Meridium Korea Standard Time, Thursday, April 16th, 2569, era of the Buddha. This voice speaking now is the voice of Joshua. How am I not myself? Nomen mutatio. And not, as always, not coming to us live from Los...
and dare I say, a throbbing middle finger to God.
Angeles, California.
Jason? I'm Jason. And I'm, a big fan of hearing Charlie Kirk on the podcast. I'm glad that he is here so often these days.
He's doing the Lord's work through our soundboard over here. That's
where we
for
keep
sure.
him alive.
I was going to shout out Tim's most recent Twitter handle there. So is not Tim Real Ale with Swill Mar Buechner, but instead, yes, co-founder of this very podcast, Jason.
You're human! You are human!
Newland, fresh out of the English Academy teaching minds. What's up, Jason? It's been a little while since we last did a one-on-one episode, and I took the liberty of looking up what I think the last time was, and it was, of course, longer ago than I expected.
How long ago was it? Like 3 years ago? Time is weird for me. Time is like a flat circle, and things that I think happened recently did not. Things that did happen recently, sometimes I think happened a long time ago.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are recording episode 288, and the last time it was just you and me was episode 197, where we talked about, I think that was the last time. I think other times, like, Tim was still here. But that was where we talked about that movie, Orion and the Dark, the Charlie Kaufman scripted children's animated film.
Yeah. I liked that movie. I kind of forgot about it.
I played it for my students, I don't know, a few months ago, I guess. Some of them seemed to like it. Most of them just ignored it and were being fucking pieces of shit. Yeah, that episode was February. Hey, Valentine's Day 2024. At least that's when it was released.
Yeah, we probably didn't record on Valentine's Day, so 2 years ago, not 3 years ago.
Right, yeah.
That's a long time. Nothing's changed in my life since then, that kind of sucks. Sometimes I wish there were more big changes.
Yeah, I guess I can't quite say the same, just because the marriage status, which is official now, I guess. I don't know if it was in the last episode or not, can't remember.
I don't know, but you told me, kind of. I knew about it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that I was mentioning that on the Discord before, just like telling people I actually know personally. I don't know. I don't know the etiquette of this shit. I'm awkward about certain things like that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're gonna we're gonna have like a proper thing sometime when I get back from my little trip to America, where fingers crossed I don't get detained for my radical political views.
And outstanding debts to the U.S. government.
Possibly that too. Tax malfeasance.
I'm a bit worried about going back to the States these days, so I understand.
Yeah, it's like I kind of argue with myself about am I being paranoid? It's like, no, I'm not. But then immediately I'm like, no, I just think about all the shit that's going on, and it's like, yeah, best to be a little.
I'm sure I'd be fine.
Cautious. Same here, but it's like, who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Maybe you get detained as a spy and you have to take off from the podcast for a year because they have you living in a camp. They ask you every day, how much does the Korean government pay you? What are you here to steal?
Well, I mean, what we're going to get into in a second, with our president being a radical anti-Semite, yeah, I might be guilty by association or something. But before we even get to that, I thought it was worth it to, for posterity's sake, to talk about
Trump
this.
Trump loves Israel.
Yeah, I was saying our Korean president made some comments.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Right. RFK, raccoons' penises. Did you hear about any of this bullshit?
Just a little bit.
Just the headline just seemed like the perfect first thing to put into the old amuse-bouche section of the pod.
Who released his diary?
Actually, well, let's see. I think they're published by him, but I'm not sure now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's just part of his biography, his new biography, not his autobiography. I don't know. A new book, hyperlink. All right. What is it? People Magazine just links to another People Magazine article instead of telling me the name of the fucking book. Anyway, who gives a shit? It's just one more weird thing to add onto the pile of weird shit about RFK.
He could have been the president.
Yeah, he tried. He tried every angle to get there and ended up just having to humiliate himself in an airplane with McDonald's and maybe blowing Donald Trump or something to get a job.
Yep. I don't often imagine that timeline, but I do wonder what it's like living in the timeline where he somehow won that election.
I'm going to say I never imagined it until right now. Boy, is it funny.
Would it be more outrageous than Trump as president, or about the same?
I think just about the same, honestly. I don't know. It's hard to say, really.
He's a different type of unhinged to me, though.
He's like an actual Zionist, like the way Biden was. Like, he doesn't need to get paid off to be a Zionist. So I think a lot of that stuff would remain the same, which is to me, the worst shit that's going on in the world right now is related to propping up Israel at all costs. So I don't think that would be any different.
And that has not really changed my entire lifetime, the more I think about it. I mean, it's obviously gotten much worse, but it's just been a fucking problem forever. We're the problem, meaning the U.S. backing of Israel is just a big problem. I don't know what I wish.
I wish they would just cut it off the way that RFK cut off that raccoon's penis to, quote, study it later.
Why would you cut off a raccoon's penis, by the way? That's fucked. They're so goddamn cute.
I mean, it was dead, to be fair.
I hope so.
Yeah, the guy he likes doing weird shit with animals. And I'm just going to assume this means that it's all a kind of... That's a soft confession to bestiality.
It's a serial killer thing, right? Cutting up dead animals?
Classic, yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be if you were fascinated with that as a child or teenager. That's the typical thing. Jeffrey Dahmer was real big into roadkill collecting and, dissolving animals in various acids. I know. I just realized I could reveal that I know way too much about the life of Jeffrey Dahmer, but I won't, because we got to stay on track, and people can just watch the movies and read the books if they want to know about that guy.
What kind of an asshole move is it to list the women you bed and then publish the list?
That's the least surprising thing I've ever heard about RFK, though, in a way, too. He just seems exactly like that kind of guy. Now that I really think about it, he's got like the upside down pineapple swinger guy energy. But
Yeah.
I don't know if, what's her name? Curb Your Enthusiasm wife, lady.
I don't know her name.
Cheryl Hines, I want to say.
Could be.
Is she an heir to the Heinz ketchup? Just like John Kerry's wife? No, I think it's spelled differently. Anyway.
John Kerry's wife's the heir to the Heinz ketchup empire?
I'm pretty sure.
Was
it
she
feels
the one who...
really right in my mind right now.
I wish they'd bring back purple ketchup.
What was that?
You know, they had like purple, green, and blue ketchup. Yep, just died.
I gotta say, on
a
gut level, I'm not a fan.
No one was.
And it's also just making me
a fan, but I want to bring it back. I am a fan.
It's making me think of that. As many things remind me of Mr. Show sketches. It's just reminding me of that like mustard mayonnaise mixed into the same jar.
Ketchup
commercial they did.
Ketchup.
Now there was. And it was like two competing brands that had different mashups of the words mustard and mayonnaise. And then at one point, like a guy with like mustard and mayo colored, like Abraham Lincoln costume bursts in the room and kills a bunch of people, I think, with a machine gun. That's all I can remember. Real easy time of staying on track here. Let's abruptly move past the RFK bullshit to this weird thing that you said you didn't see. Did you hear about it at all? This DoorDash PR stunt that Trump did?
I saw the pictures. I did see the pictures. I'd just kind of forgotten about it. I saw the old lady handing the McDonald's bag to Trump, and that same old lady like did another stunt with him at some point, from what I understand, but I don't know which one.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Got a link. History of Republican-backed appearances. Yeah. It was just so bizarre. I don't know. Like, for those who didn't catch it, I guess, like, they just staged this thing, obviously. She's wearing a t-shirt that says DoorDash Grandma. And, because she's like a grandma age person. The picture in this Daily Beast article is kind of hilarious. How stupid Trump looks handing her like $100 bill. A whole $100, by the way. Like, couldn't go a little more all out than that to try to really impress the nation. I mean, the weirdest part about it wasn't even the stunt itself. It's that he made her stand there next to him as he fielded questions that had nothing to do with anything related to DoorDash or the economy or whatever. It was just like all about war, Operation Epstein's Fury.
Do you think I should bomb the Strait of Hormuz? Do you think I should just open it up with nuclear weapons? What would you do, DoorDash lady? How would you deliver a hamburger to the Strait? How would you deliver a hamburger without my battleships? If I put you on a battleship, would you deliver a hamburger to the Strait?
I mean, you joke, but I believe he was asking her opinion on a bunch of stuff like that.
I mean, sometimes the advisors in the room suck, so you have to ask the delivery man. I've been there.
Yeah. It was just, I mean, I guess, like, considering in the ranking of weird shit that Trump does and says on a weekly basis, I guess this barely cracks, like, the top 10 of just this week.
Yeah.
I still thought it was incredibly weird. And just...
It was a bit tone deaf, too. I mean, because what everyone loves to see, an old lady... you know, who doesn't have enough money to retire, so she has to DoorDash until she dies. Yeah, that's what we like to think about. Just like everyone DoorDashing to these rich assholes until the day they die.
It reminded me of something I remember us talking about, you know, a million years ago, probably when we first started the podcast, about like the young girl raising funds from her lemonade stand to pay for her brain tumor removal.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember even saying maybe at the time, like, I don't know if I even want to follow up on this. It's just gonna be a fucking bummer. see if she made it or not.
Now I want to follow up on that. I was going to say it also reminds me of like Snow Crash. I don't know if you ever read that book or not, but like the whole like Neil Stevenson thing where the biggest job for most people that are not like part of the upper class is just delivery men, and
Mhm.
people just do it until they die. Um, and it's like, you know, we are kind of moving towards this world of those are the only things we'll be able to do, I guess. Though I did see people outside of Soul Forest the other day training like robots on how to deliver things. Like they were doing like these prototype, like they had these robots out there that I guess they're going to start like using to deliver coupon eats. So that's cool.
There's no way a robot could make it to where I live. I feel like it's too steep of a hill in like
I feel that
every direction. Oh, by
I
you
feel
especially. Yours is even steeper.
I
Actually.
know. Who knows though, man?
Yeah, they might have some like special grip tank tread technology or something. But also just to get into like actually get to my door, my apartment door. I mean, I guess it would have to just leave stuff on like the outer entrance, but
They basically looked like little mini refrigerators on wheels, the ones I saw.
yeah, I've kind of seen. I don't think I've seen them here actually yet, but
So no, they weren't like in use yet. Me and Yane were just like walking around the forest, and we saw like a group of people testing them, like workers who I guess were building them. I was like, oh, look at that. They're testing their robots.
kind of apropos of nothing. But I always think about this fact I learned when I think about a forest in Seoul. I guess that there's like honest to goodness wild boars traipsing around in the forest in this giant city. Do you ever hear about that?
That's crazy. I have, but I've never seen one. I've seen a lot of the raccoons or the tanukis.
Anyway, this Daily Beast article about this it highlights something else about the whole stunt, which is that DoorDash PR boss melts down after Trump's stunt backfires, and it just shows some little miniature tweet storm. This guy Julian Crowley, I guess the guy who's in touch of public relations for DoorDash. Totally
Look at
a
that
noble
headshot.
profession. Yeah, his picture. He looks like that weird. That I don't know why I'm saying weird. He's kind of weird looking. Do you know that like YouTuber Philip? I fucking forget his name. It doesn't matter. This truly doesn't matter. I'm going to move on. So this guy with his big grin, he's just excited to do public relations for DoorDash. He says, this is him having a bit of a crash out, as they say. No one is claiming it was a real delivery. It was clearly and obviously a planned event to mark a new policy starting, which I forget even what that was about. To claim Sharon is a prop, plant, or an actor is totally wrong and off base. She is a dasher. And she participated to support the policy that benefits her. Oh, the policy is just Trump's fucking like no taxes on tips thing.
Oh, okay.
That's what the whole thing was about. I'm remembering now because Trump very awkwardly like tries to like cram that in there when he's pretending like, oh, hey, didn't notice you here with my McDonald's order. Because she just brought this like big ass McDonald's order.
How the fuck are we going to pay for the war if we don't tax tips?
Good point, really. Maybe that'll finally get the entirety of the mega cult to finally flip on Trump. That one little issue.
People say they're flipping now. I personally don't feel like they are, but I'm just basing that on like my occasional like doom scrolls of Facebook where I decide to like try to see what, you know, my people back home are doing. None of who I feel like calling, so I'll just occasionally be like, oh.
There seems to be a hardcore base that will like Trump could do the thing that he bragged about, like go out onto Fifth Avenue and shoot someone in the head, and like they would still probably, you know,
Excuse it.
Yeah, stay in line. I feel like just looking at like opinion polls where they're at, like I mean, he is like in the shitter when it comes to those. Like I guess when you poll specifically, like not just Republicans but like MAGA people who identify as like MAGA or whatever, it's still like shocking amount of approval. But I don't know, like all the stuff with like these big media figures, like the commentariat is flipping in a way that I kind of didn't expect from some of them. And now it seems pretty permanent. I don't know. We talked about this last week, so I don't want to belabor it too much.
Oh, yeah. You mean with like the MAGA people flipping? I've seen some of that.
Yeah, like Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. They were all, solid, faithful soldiers up until like pretty recently. So
they're just ending their careers, leaving space for new people to come in.
I mean, I think they're kind of doing better than ever. Maybe not Alex Jones, but the other three are like putting up big YouTube numbers, at least, that's for sure.
As they pull in the liberal crowd?
No, there is a schism. There really is a schism, but it's like hard to like measure shit like this, like really accurately. It's really a lot more vibes based, aside from like opinion polling, but like there are like conservative right wing people who are it's America first versus MAGA. Like that's where like the dividing line is. Like I have something in the notes about this, like this lunatic preacher is like calling for Trump to be 25th amendmented out of office. So like a lot of people you wouldn't expect in the past are flipping on him. But the thing is like they're flipping on him in a very like a personal way because they finally don't like how he's tweeting, basically. I mean, and some of them claim they're not fans of going into wars, but like all those people, they're not fans of the war for shitty, stupid reasons that are just like isolationist, selfish reasons, not because they give a fuck about Palestinians.
Oil prices going up is
Iranians.
bad. Why are they doing this to us?
Yeah, that's what will really start doing it, is when we feel the first wave, because we haven't even felt it yet. I mean, you and I we're going to feel it in Korea too.
I think they are feeling it in Korea already.
It's going to get worse, is all I'm saying, because like everything I understand about like the timing of the oil shipments is like it takes so long to ship oil around the world that like the world hasn't really felt like the full drop off yet of the Strait of Hormuz being more or less completely shut down. But before we even
that it was opened.
We'll get there in a second, but let's talk about Korea shit first.
Okay.
So yes, we both live in Korea, same time zone. A very novel thing to happen on the podcast of late. Two people in the same Korean time zone. Although,
for now at least, according
to the show's new lore, there is only one time zone, and it is the King James time zone. So we'll stick with that.
Is that the time zone they use in Thailand?
Yes.
Wait, no, you were talking about like the Buddhist calendar or some bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, though the lore is more how Tim every single week forgets that it's not nighttime where I am, because he always says, "How you doing tonight, Josh?" I'm like, it's fucking 10 in the morning. But
it's nighttime somewhere.
True. That's true. What's also true is that our South Korean president, I remember like struggling with this before. Do I sound like an asshole to pronounce the Korean names the way they're pronounced, like in Korea? Is it annoying? Lee Jae-myung, as people would say. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah, I go back and forth on it too. I know it's E, but Lee or E, we get it.
That guy Ben Norton, who I guess we'll talk more directly about in a second here too, he's in my mind kind of famous for like properly pronouncing like foreign names.
Noticed that from when I've watched him.
Yeah,
jealous.
He lives in China now, but he used to live in Nicaragua, and so he speaks fluent Spanish, so he always pronounced any Spanish name like perfectly like accented. And I remember even before him and Max Blumenthal had a falling out, and they had like a show together, he always says Afghanistan, and I remember it like Max Blumenthal like kind of giving him shit about it. He's like, well, I'm uncultured, like my friend Ben here, and I'll say Afghanistan, or whatever. What did he do? He's angered Israel. Oh, those guys get angry easily? Never heard of such a thing. Well, what did he do to piss off Israel? He showed a video of IDF soldiers doing something heinous, which they don't even deny that it's a real video.
No, it just happened like 2 years ago, so it's not like a video you have to worry about. They're not doing that stuff anymore. They're doing worse things.
I mean, the video, I remember seeing it at the time that it like came out in like 2024, I guess. And yeah, they're just like, they're kicking what appears to be an already dead Palestinian off of a roof, which is grotesque in itself, but I guess, I don't know, on a relative scale of Israeli evil, it's like downright fucking neighborly.
I did see somewhere that they were defending the action as just a general thing you do during war.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And it's not.
No.
Not that I've been to a lot of wars or anything, but it's not. There should be a little bit of respect for the dead.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine anyone in the IDF having any of that ever. Let's just read. The Israel Foreign Ministry took to the tweets and said here, the remarks by the president of Korea, Lee Jae-myung, including the trivialization of the massacre of Jews on the eve of Holocaust Remembrance Day in Israel, are unacceptable and warrant strong condemnation.
He didn't trivialize that, though.
No, he didn't at all.
At any point. He never trivialized. They're just adding that. That didn't happen. Sorry. When I read this tweet, I was like, no. Okay, go ahead.
Well, they're saying that him just showing the video and saying it's bad to treat people like this is somehow trivializing the deaths of Jews in the Holocaust because it was on the eve of Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Are they saying that Jews just get a free pass forever to do whatever they want because they experienced something terrible?
Sounds about right. I mean, that seems to be the logic here. And in particular, Smotrich, one of the worst people in Israel of all time, most like disgusting people ever, he was particularly pissed off about this and demands like an apology and stuff.
See, I didn't read this. I'd just seen the tweets and I was like, yeah, I agree with what he's saying. And I've actually agreed with quite a few different things that he's done. Except for maybe giving the Golden Crown to Trump.
That I thought was just funny. I thought that was a sly diss immediately when I saw that. And I still think it kind of was. I think it was it
is too.
It has to be. Anyway, he basically compared like what he saw there to the abuse of like the comfort women in Korea by the Japanese, and I believe compared like the IDF's actions in that video to the suffering of the Holocaust itself. Like, so he was like acknowledging, but then he did respond to like the Israeli criticisms, and the translation is, it's disappointing given the constant criticism from people around the world who are suffering due to these ongoing anti-human rights and anti-international law actions. You would think there would be at least some reflection. When I am in pain, others feel that same pain. If someone suffers because of my needs, it is only natural to feel sorry. It is deeply unsettling to watch innocent citizens suddenly endure such immense suffering and national hardship out of nowhere. For the sake of universal human rights and the national interest of the Republic of Korea, I will strive harder to find what more can be done. Outrageous, anti-Semitic.
Yeah, he needs to get on the train. He needs to be sending money or weapons to that area of the world. Shouldn't be making the U.S. come and take them, like, taking the THAAD missile system. They should have just gave it to. We gave it to them, they give it back. That's how shit works.
I just finally found the fucking article I was looking for. It was like slammed together in the links with. another article.
Oh.
That's why it's so confusing. God damn. Okay, this article about this from Middle East Monitor, it's actually a little bit critical of Lee Jae-myung, but not for the reasons Israel was, but also defends his remarks and showing the video. You know what? I think I just imagined that he was giving a talk somewhere. This was all just on on social media.
Yeah, for some reason I just didn't think he had left the country anytime recently. That's why I was confused about it.
I was just reading too many articles at the last minute before we started, and I was just hallucinating shit, I guess. But anyway, the point is that a few days after this, South Korea abstained from a UN resolution, which I believe was condemning Israeli actions. So that seemed kind of, I don't know, hypocritical in a way, but it's sort of understandable if you think about this political tightrope that South Korea has to walk all the time with the United States, and that actually him saying anything even remotely critical of Israel is actually fairly brave, considering the kind of special relationship between South Korea and America in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And also South Korea regularly abstains from in UN resolutions from even wanting to give statehood to Palestine, which is bullshit, I'll say. I'll go out on a huge limb there. Yeah, as it says in this article, South Korea itself has not sufficiently supported Palestinian rights. It continues to refrain from recognizing Palestinian statehood and often abstains from UN votes on Palestinian human rights issues, including last month's UN Human Rights Council resolution. And then there was another one they just abstained from for 2 days ago as well, which was after this whole kerfuffle with the Israeli government basically condemning South Korea as anti-Semitic for showing a video of their soldiers breaking international law and kicking a body off of a roof, which, yes, I also just made sure is considered a crime to some degree, but Israel's never seen a war crime they didn't want to commit even harder than before. So nothing truly surprising there, but it's still just nauseating to see, the stuff that Smotrich was saying, and just knowing what he says on a regular basis. And it's he wants an apology for hurt feelings from this very minor, really minor criticism of Israel. But who is Michelle Park Steele?
Michelle Park Steele? She's our new U.S. ambassador, which I always want to call an ambassador a diplomat, which they're not exactly the same thing, are they? She's great.
What do you like about her?
Well,
that Trump handpicked her or whatever?
Yeah, Unju Steele. Michelle Unju Steele. Used to be Park before she became Steele.
I assume she married someone named Steele. It'd be funny if she just changed her name like that. Which,
I assume she did too.
It says Sean Steele here. It's a real Max Power name, as I mentioned to you. It just reminded me of that Simpsons episode where Homer changes his names to Max Power. Or is it Max Powers? Either one. And it changes his life, gives him more confidence. I kind of feel like she got a little boost from adding Steele to her name. Yeah, she's a former Republican congresswoman from California, and now she's the second. I don't know why this struck me as kind of funny too, in a way, that she's only the second Korean American to be an ambassador to South Korea.
Yeah, that strikes me as funny too. I do know that when she ran for re-election, and her district was Orange County, California, I think, and when she ran for re-election in 2024, she did lose to Derek Tran, who she called a communist sympathizer and was sending mailers of Tran alongside Mao Zedong, hammer and sickle out to her constituents as constituents as a way to defame him. And during one of the debates, she said, "I am more Vietnamese than my opponent," which weird because he is Vietnamese and she's Korean, but
Yeah. I wonder what she meant by that. It's a weird comment. That's probably what got her. That's probably what got her the job. Like they just showed Trump like that clip, and he's like, "I like her style. She says crazy bullshit that doesn't make any sense." Or Trump just believes it because he just assumes like all Asians can possibly be Vietnamese too.
That would not surprise me at all. That if Trump believed all Asians were from the same place. She's also just voted for terrible stuff over and over again. If you look at her tenure section of the Wikipedia page, it's just like, Jesus. But it's not really surprising.
Yeah, honestly, the best thing about this news is just her name makes me laugh. It's that Max Powers in the back of my mind. It makes me think of The Simpsons. So now that I can applaud, that I can get behind.
Yeah, I can see that. The name is funny.
I am more Vietnamese than my opponent. I kind of want more context on that, honestly. There is a link to a New York Times article, which is probably going to block me out. But, yep, there it is. Fuck you.
Not a subscriber, Josh.
Nope. And I'm not even going to bother to get around it. I just have here, remember when Korea gave Trump that gold crown, but we already talked about that. I tend to think it was a sly move. I manipulated the stupid Gemini response because I just what did I say? Yeah, I searched South Korea gifted Trump a crown. Was it a joke? And the response from Gemini was like, no, absolutely not. It was a deadly serious offering to the man trying to curry favor. And then I just added the word sly. South Korea gifted Trump a crown. Was it a sly joke? And then it completely changed its tune. And it's like, oh, yes, many people were saying it was a sly joke and a winking, nudging, whatever. But that's just how these fucking chatbots work. I don't know why it still kind of amuses me that they're so wrong and hallucinatory about everything they do, but it does still tickle me. And that crown was definitely meant to be a joke. I'm firm on my belief in that. At least by our president, our South Korean president. Because I just remember seeing the picture of it and I was like, there's no way this is being done in pure seriousness. Come on.
No.
I think they even said something they said to him, we know your love of gold royalty shit. So here you go. And Trump, of course, took it, as a great, offering before him because he's a moron. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Trump is a stupid asshole.
Do you think that the Korean government will be giving Trump another crown soon to smooth over this whole, anti-Israel stance?
I will turn completely on our current South Korean president. If they give one to Bibi, that would be the ultimate cucked move.
No, I doubt they would.
Let's hope
Who knows,
so.
Though?
The only reason I feel because at first I wanted to be oh, look, they voted on this UN resolution as a way to try to take back what he said about Israel. But as I just mentioned, South Korea always votes that way on stuff involving Palestine and Israel. If they don't just outright vote against, they'll just abstain.
Yeah.
I hate the fact, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I hate that abstention is even an option. And I'm sure there's probably some fucking reason that it that makes sense that someone could explain to me. I've probably even looked it up before, but I still, every time I see that that's an option, it pisses me off.
That's very American of you. You want a clear winner or loser.
It just allows countries to
be Sweden.
Yeah, not take a fucking side on shit that you have to take you can't be neutral on. Truly,
or is it Switzerland that's always neutral?
It's Switzerland, but Sweden's basically the same these days. But
it's the same country, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Same place in the world.
Switzerland's just a district of Oslo,
Stockholm?
Which is also in Sweden.
Yeah, that makes sense. Glad we cleared that up. Geography's always been a strong suit of mine.
Got a couple of their South Korean items here this one's I thought this was kind of funny. I mostly clicked on it because I saw a big picture of John McCain at the top of it. I was like, what the fuck is this about?
Good old John McCain.
South Korean politicians mislabel U.S. think tank as, quote, fraudulent election group. And this is just Chosun Daily, which I assume is like conservative to some degree, because this article is just this article is so kissing the ass of America. It's disgusting.
Chosun Daily's famously conservative. They're
right. I couldn't quite remember which papers are where. I think there's like a fairly far left and also fairly well known newspaper, but I can't. And I think they have one of their offices is kind of near where I live. I don't know if any of that sparks anything for you, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Jungan?
I just remember Haewon telling me, like, oh, you'd like that paper. It's pretty far left. It's what my mom reads. I never even thought about this. My mother-in-law is luckily very far left, at least by Korean standards, which I appreciate.
That's good.
She was telling me yesterday about like books that she read at a really young age, and she thinks her mom maybe like introduced the books to her. She can't really remember, but she read like Mouse, the fucking Art Spiegelman.
Yeah, I loved those comics actually.
But she said she was 7 when she was reading like the Korean translation, and like, yeah.
You mean Haewon was 7, right? Not Haewon's mom. At first I was thinking Haewon's mom. I was like, man, Haewon's mom must be really young.
Well, I think that book is from like the 80s, but I mean, she wouldn't have been. Anyway. And also reading some maybe you know this one. Like, I think it's a pretty famous manga about the French Revolution. Does that ring a bell? Anyway, she said she read that and really liked it, and she enjoyed the like revolutionary angle of it.
It does ring a bell, and I can't think of its name.
I think it's called like Palace Versailles or something like that.
That sounds right. Have not read it.
I'm just let's go on tangents. Who gives a shit? Who cares about the fucking news anyway? I was like. Just as part of that conversation, I was talking about stuff from my childhood as well, and I was remembering that the like year that I was super obsessed with Pogs, and I had to explain what Pogs were because Haewon just didn't know. I guess they didn't, or maybe they just.
Korea.
Yeah.
Did you get the Apollo 13 rocket Pog holder from your local Hardee's or Carl's Jr.'s?
No, I don't. But I did have a lot of accoutrement for Pogs. Like, you could buy like little mats and shit. And I got really into like the gambling aspect of it, like at school with my fellow peers. But then I was like, and then I realized as I was saying the word Pog aloud, I was like, oh, like most people would hear that word and think of like PAWG. So then Haewon's like, yeah, I don't know what that is. So I'm explaining what that is. And it was just this like long-winded thing where I had to explain. Because then I'm explaining what PAWG is. And I'm like, fat ass. And they're like, but she's like, fat? Fat's not with a P. And I'm like, okay. So then I had to explain what fat, the acronym FAT is. Pretty hot and tempting. It was just this like downward spiral of like explaining acronyms with other acronyms, and it just
I didn't realize POG was an acronym.
Well, like in the porn sense, you don't know about that.
No, I'm an innocent vanilla boy.
Well, then I'll explain it to you as well, just like I did to my wife.
We don't watch pornography where I'm from.
Yes, famously Tennessee.
We just read it. Wait, that's not true. Tennesseans don't read.
Fat ass white girl. Look it up. You might like what you see. Anyway, politics, news. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah, forget about this fraudulent election group thing anyway. It's kind of a dud of a story. I mean, it was like a politician rightfully calling out like a U.S. think tank as being like full of shit and fraudulent. And then this ridiculous conservative Korean paper being like, what a mistake. Like they call it mislabeling. Like they can't even imagine that like a fellow other Korean would like say something slightly critical about the United States of America. I guess that was just that's the beginning and the end of the whole reason I put that on the list. And then finally,
The last thing is they moved the THAAD missile system, which I think I alluded to a bit earlier.
yeah, I mean, that was, that's already ancient news now, but I saw something reminded me of it. So I just threw it on the list. And I don't think I had mentioned it on the podcast before, but like the very not desperate, not begging for an end to the war Trump administration, like hastily, desperately grabbed some anti-aircraft missile launcher devices from South Korea, which are, reportedly there to shoot down nukes from North Korea. I don't know if that's exactly how that would work, but
I mean, I remember when they were installing the THAAD missile system because I was here then, and I remember thinking they don't need it, and my coworkers in Gwangju at the time thinking kind of the same thing.
It's not meant for fucking North Korea anyway. It's for intimidate China.
Right?
Yeah.
Intimidate's a better word than deter, because China's really not like
they're not looking
to deter them. They're not trying to start a fight. We're trying to start a fight.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not deterrence. It's like that great joke, that great leftist meme, I guess you could call it, of what's all this Iran doing by our American bases, Although nowadays you could say that joke doesn't hit as hard because like I think 13 out of 17 are like decommissioned from Iranian missiles, and rightly so. But before even going to that, China news. There was some big news in China, and this we can actually put in the slot of positive news, if you ask me. And I think most people should consider this positive. The kind of new leader of Taiwan's KMT party met with Xi Jinping, and it was basically a meeting to promote peace. And there's a very good Ben Norton video where he explained a lot of this and the history surrounding it and all of the political motivations at play and economic motivations. One of those being that the U.S. is heavily invested in Taiwanese computer chips. What is that company again? You said you follow this stuff. I can't remember.
TMSC?
Yeah.
I probably got the initials backwards because I just have a stupid brain that does that.
It's something like that. It's everybody knows the big chip factory, which Nancy Pelosi pointedly visited back in 2022 without making a visit to Beijing, just to like stir shit up, because it actually made me have a thought of like, while there is a lot of immediate horrendous shit happening right now, I don't want to like ever forget. And also it's funny because like we're doing this episode together, like the good old days, and the good old days were just the Biden days, basically. Never fucking forget how evil those fucking people are and always were and always will be. Pelosi, Biden.
They were evil?
Biden made a public appearance recently to a fucking ice cream parlor with Jay Leno. That's what he's up to. He's shockingly not out there calling for peace in the Middle East like his biggest fans might idiotically expect him to for some reason.
I mean, the Democrats purposely shot themselves in the foot the last election just because they didn't want peace in the Middle East.
Yeah, they threw away the election to do more bloodletting in Gaza, for sure. But China, positivity.
I think this stuff with Taiwan Semiconductors is crazy that we've been kind of like strong-arming them to just like open their plant in America. That's the kind of stuff that I've been following. Because it would basically be like China coming in and being like, yeah, you got to move Apple to China. It's theirs now. I don't know. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, Trump is doing what he always does, which is threaten sanctions. So this country that we supposedly love and we want to liberate, from the from the icy grip of the Chinese dragon next door.
It is a cool country. I've really enjoyed the times I've went there.
I'm sure it's great, but I mean, I guess the larger point I wanted to make about this whole thing is that Beijing doesn't want to do any of the shit that American propaganda says it wants to do. It's just complete bullshit, and so many people fall for it. There's no chance that China is going to invade Taiwan to like absorb it.
Yeah, China
The actual
famously invades every country.
Yeah, they've got all those military bases, like 800 plus around the world.
Not like the U.S., who like is a peacekeeping nation who would never invade another country.
Never in a million years. But like the policies are like decades old. Like the one China policy, it doesn't mean Taiwan has to bend to the will of Beijing. It just means we're all China. And like the KMT party in particular, which has been the party in power in Taiwan the longest, and it is, Ben Norton mentions this in the video too, but like there weren't real democratic elections in Taiwan until 1987, I think it was.
Yeah, basically.
And before that, it was a military dictatorship. So like always like people who cynically use Taiwan as like this beacon of democracy, even that kind of falls flat if you look at the history. But like, yeah, I guess this is just like a reminder to people out there, whatever, that if you hear people talking this way, like set them straight. Like there are no ambition. Like all you have to do is look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong is like a part of China, but it is also like a special independent province that has capitalism and doesn't have to follow, the same brand of socialism with Chinese characteristics. It's like explicitly stated over and over and over again that like we have no interest in like changing the economic system of Taiwan, but the red lines are like that it completely tries to break away from China and from the one China policy, or that, I mean, there's already U.S. weapons there, which it's insanely restrained that China even tolerates that, and tolerates, like I said, all these fucking missiles we have pointed at it from Korea and other places nearby.
Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines.
I guess I just also desperately wanted to put something positive in the show too, but also I just find like the whole history and ongoing relationship between what people think of as two countries, but honestly, I mean, Taiwan's real fucking name is the Republic of China. People forget even that basic fact too a lot of the time. Taiwan considers itself a part of China, but just there's a disagreement still, of course. I mean, this is what the Civil War was about, but at this late date, it's not like hostile in the way that it was in 1949. So this signals that things might get better just in the relations between the two parts of China. Because this new politician whose name I don't have right in front of me, apologies. Chen
Li Yuan? Li Yuan?
Chen Li Yuan, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. She also has been saying things. I mean, this is kind of an important part. I'm glad I didn't skip over. She's saying we don't want Taiwan to be the next Ukraine.
The next Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah. Which is a very reasonable thing to say and to be worried about if you're Taiwan, in the way that the United States talks about using Taiwan. There's this whole like military doctrine within U.S. think tanks and military decision-making circles called the Porcupine something plan or something like that. I also don't have that pulled up right in front of me.
A heavily armed proxy, like they
like explicitly state
they heavily like arm somebody, like Korea or Taiwan, to like encourage confrontation with China or Russia, depending on where they are in the world.
Yeah, and Ukraine has been used in that same prickly porcupine plan kind of way, obviously. So she basically said, like in this meeting with Xi Jinping, like, we don't want to go down that road. She even pointed out like just the practical thing of like, do we really think we could win a fucking war with the mainland of China? If Russia has done what it's done to Ukraine, like China could infinitely more so like decimate.
I don't really know China's military capabilities, but I imagine it's vast.
They have a very strong navy. I know that for sure.
They have a very powerful manufacturing culture, and I think that just helps.
Yeah. But also they're very adverse to war. I think I mentioned in another recent episode, like something that I didn't quite even realize, but they, as a matter of principle, don't have military alliances with anyone. They have economic alliances. They do, Belt and Road Initiatives type stuff, but they are not like actual military allies with anyone, because that would more likely put them in the position to have to go to war, which they don't want because they're smart and they're building up their country with a system that actually fucking works and doesn't just devour itself.
I think they have
our home country currently is
rocketed past American, infrastructure and
it's systems. Not even a debate at this point. Like, it just seems so self-evident to me. But I mean, even in terms of just the size of the economy, it's bigger than the U.S. now.
Yep.
At least I think there's there's different ways of measuring that. There's the purchasing power parity, I think it's called, the PPP. Ben Norton also brings that up a lot. Is like, it's a more accurate way to measure the economy. And when you measure China versus the U.S. that way, like, China has surged past the U.S. like years ago already. So anyway, I'm finna be Chinese. I'm sick of being not Chinese, as the song goes.
I often think about moving to China. Still haven't done it, but it would make sense.
I've thought about it too. I guess at least there seems to be a decent president in Korea at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with Korea.
Some issues.
For the most part. There's some things I would change, but there's just some things I would change about most places.
True.
They should let me do those changes. I promise. It'd be better for most people. Worse for like a few. Way worse for a few people. But not that many. Just like a small group of people I would make things way worse for.
Yeah. I say the Epstein class can all line up against the wall.
I would just find an island for them.
That's their favorite thing, man. Don't give them their favorite thing.
Oh, it wouldn't be.
Not the way I'm mapping out this island.
An island where they have to do good deeds for people as forced labor.
You're going to put them on a send help style. Actually, no, that was an awesome island. Never mind.
Yeah.
That movie really kind of tricked me based on like just the like poster imagery, how she's like just covered in blood, and then like you watch the movie and it zigs where you expect it to zag or something, and it was awesome. That was a very good movie.
I really liked it. It's one of Sam Raimi's best in a long time.
For sure. I've labeled this section U.S. soldiers preemptively objecting to war as opposed to afterwards. So, like, unlike, say, the war, Operation Iraqi Liberation, as it was called, and then they realized, whoops, that spells oil. We should change it to Operation Iraqi Freedom. And so that's what people really know it as. But
Operation Oil. I wish they just kept it as Operation Oil. I actually did not realize that until right now.
Oh, really? Yeah. They literally did. It like for a few minutes was called that. But see, that's what you can say. Like, here's the downfall of America. Here's the real difference. Trump would have just kept it as that.
Yeah, and he would have like been on record calling it Operation Oil.
That's kind of the only substantial difference between the neocon Bush admin and the Trump admin in a way. I mean, obviously I'm oversimplifying a bit, but we are a nation still at war, the United States, that is. And a lot of people are not happy about that, including a lot of soldiers. And yeah, just this is just the kind of like gives us the state of morale at the moment within the military. And previous episodes, I talked about that thing where it seemed like a purposeful like sabotage where like the plumbing on that giant aircraft carrier got jammed up and they had to like turn the boat around or something.
Yeah.
And then a fire broke out. And now I'm realizing too, though, that fire was probably not a thing that like soldiers or whatever seamen started, which is what that was my intuition at first. But what it is the ship got fucking hit by an Iranian missile, and they're just saying, "Oh, a fire broke out," because there's so much lying about what's happening with like.
Yeah, they are trying to show no weakness by saying, "Oh, we have not suffered any losses to Iran. We just keep having our stuff like fail."
They really expect us to believe like only 13 soldiers have died and stuff. Still, it's insane. But where was he going with that? Oh, right, just the idea of people not wanting anything to do with this, even people that, volunteered to be in the military. And one thing that measures that is apparently U.S. soldiers, at least thinking over conscientious objection status has risen by 1,000%, according to NovaraMedia.com here. I mean, I've seen this elsewhere too. And then there's some very depressing facts within this article. Just like how much shit has been destroyed, like during the ceasefire already, like the so-called ceasefire. If you combine that fact with the fact that dozens of high-ranking military personnel have been purged by Pete Kegsbreath, Secretary of War Crimes himself.
Fuck that guy.
It basically means like these people are just refusing to go along with the insanity. And these are not like peaceniks. These are people that I probably find like revolting otherwise.
I mean, I've had friends in the military. Some people really do just join because you grow up in shitty situations and you're like, well, it's a job.
I'm talking about generals and lieutenants and shit, man. Like people
those people suck.
I'm not talking about grunts. I have friends in the military too.
But I thought all the like sane generals were fired by Trunk and Hesketh for what? Trunk and Hespump a while ago.
It's continuing to happen is the thing. And there's like, I think the list, like the latest list I could find, it goes up to at least 24, according to the New York Times.
And recently they put out like all the stuff that they're basically trying to ban women from combat again. Like, I think that they want to like do like a mass discharge of women in the military, which is like actually kind of crazy for, like the career women who decided to do that as a job.
Yeah,
God, I'm so glad I didn't join the military. I was so close.
I somewhat seriously considered something like that at one point in my sad job finding post college existence.
Yeah, me too.
Instead, we just moved to South Korea to teach English.
Sometimes I regret that decision too. What's life if you don't live your regrets?
It's what we always say. But moving on to the section entitled "That's Our President" / Operation Epstein's Fury / Israel and Lebanon. In hilarious Trump news, I guess we could call it. Basically it's just like his latest highly circulated truth posts.
I still don't have a truth account.
I tried to get one actually, and like I couldn't because I don't have an American phone number. I think you have to have an American phone number to get one. At least you did when I tried. I wanted to get one just to see how weird it was or whatever. But it's like now I don't even think about scouring that shit because I just end up seeing like the highlights anyway, like on other mediums. So
I mean, Twitter is basically truth anyways.
Shit. This fucking article doesn't have the actual Trump truth about the blockade. I mean, who gives a fuck? The long and short of it is that Trump has done maybe the dumbest thing he's ever done. Like many people.
I have the tweet if you want me to read it.
Yeah, but many people are saying, which is classic Trump way to start a sentence, but it's true. Many people are saying that this may be the single stupidest thing he's actually ever done, which is the double blockade. Okay, you're going to block the Strait of Hormuz? So are we. But yeah, what did he have to say?
You are talking about the China. China is very happy that I'm permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz.
I mean, that's the follow-up,
also.
but yeah, anyway.
Shit.
I mean, we might as well get to that. That's the funniest thing. That tweet I do have somewhere.
Doing it for them also, and the world. The situation will never happen again. They have agreed not to send weapons to Iran. President Xi will give me a big fat hug when I get there in a few weeks. We are working smartly and very well. Doesn't that beat fighting? But remember, we're very good at fighting. If we have to, far better than anyone else. President DJT. God, I feel like I had that other tweet, but I don't.
It's okay. It doesn't. It really doesn't matter. Just the very concept itself suffices for humor. And probably anyone listening to this podcast already saw this stuff, circulated, but had to at least mention it in passing because it is like profoundly stupid even for him. I mean, do I even need to explain why? I mean, one funny thing I saw was JD Vance saying that like he describes what Iran is doing as economic terrorism, and then he says essentially, well, two can play at that game. So he's just saying we're going to do economic terrorism as well, which is accurate because that's what America does, and does more so and better than anyone else on the planet, is economic terrorism, which reminded me of another fact that I believe I received from Ben Norton, which was that the US has sanctions on 1/3 of the global population. If you add up all the populations of the countries that we have economic sanctions out against.
Wow.
Sanctions upon, which is no small feat, I guess. But yeah, of course, none of this shit about China is true whatsoever. It's just complete fantasy land nonsense. And also, like, even the blockade itself, like, was just more bluster. I mean, they did kind of move some ships in, but like they just allowed people to like pass anyway that Iran had like levied a tax upon to go through the strait. So it's just like cuckening after cuckening after cuckening with this war, which of course then like as soon as I start laughing about it gives me pause, because that's when I worry about the psychotic leaders of Israel and the United States getting so frustrated with this situation that they've gotten themselves in that they just like unleash the nukes. But I don't know.
I'm glad we haven't unleashed the nukes. I was worried for a minute that we were going to.
Yeah, I was a little on edge, and I'm kind of always on
civilization
edge.
ending tweet got me a little on edge. But, you know, we'll probably do a smart move and decide to use those for when we finally start fighting Cuba.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, even if we like turned around and abandoned ship and left Iran alone, we're just going to go right back to pummeling Central and South America, which we're doing in different ways anyway. But
this stuff we're doing in Cuba is fucking awful. But is it really just all to keep people from talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
I mean, I'm of the mind that at this point, Trump really wants out, and even for him, there's no delusionally graceful way to do it. Like, what I kind of thought might happen at one point, probably weeks ago now, is like, he's just going to declare victory and pull everybody out. And that's what he tried.
I expected that too.
But he essentially did that without actually getting all like the troops out. But like that's why it was all this like manic back and forth, like the war is over, the war's not over bullshit. And it's because I think the reason is the simple reason that a lot of people suspect. There's compromise on Trump, clear HD pedophile compromise. I mean, and worse, possibly, like, maybe like fucking slitting a dog's throat while like punching a 13-year-old girl for biting his
because
dick.
I feel like this whole thing actually doesn't align with the stuff that I was going to say the Vance side of the MAGA party wanted.
I mean, the thing is like the United States as an overall like entity is in control of Israel. Like we control everything. They don't exist without our money. No one else is going to fund them. No one, like they're a pariah state that only lives because we allow them to live.
And they live better than most Americans.
But you have to separate Trump from that because of the compromise on him personally. So he's stuck in it, which means we're all fucking stuck in it. I mean, and like the only way I could see out of this thing, like sooner than later, would be if somebody with access just leaked the fucking compromise, like without Israel wanting them to, because then they lose their leverage over Trump. Trump is like, at the very least, humiliated, if not.
No, Trump just instantly spins I can't believe they released these fucking AI videos of me.
No.
Absolutely disgusting.
No. I don't think that's going to fly. If there is like full honest to goodness fucking video, like, and like many videos, like dozens or something, I think even the most cultish people are going to have to like abandon him. And the thing is that doesn't really solve much anyway, because then what? We have JD Vance and there's still a MAGA movement, but
yep.
At the very least it could potentially solve some of the Israel problem slightly. I don't know. I don't know if JD Vance would necessarily get us out of Iran either.
I don't know if he would either. I kind of think he doesn't want to be in that war. Not that I'm trying to defend him right now, but I just...
Well, no, because they ran as a pro-peace ticket.
Yeah.
Like, and people liked it. Like, the cult liked it. But, like, they also kind of like what you tell them to like. There's a distinction between when it, like, in my mind, at least, when I say the cult, I mean, like, the really hardcore, center of MAGA. But then there's, like, degrees of zealousness or whatever. And I think a lot of people are turning on at least Trump the man, if not like MAGA as a movement.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, and that's what was so funny is not really the right word, but you know what I mean? Like when so many MAGA people were like aghast at the tweets about Rob Reiner, and they were hideous, but it was like, to me, it was like, he's always this disgusting. You're just noticing this now? Like, and maybe it's just because they're like, oh, Rob Reiner's a guy that I used to watch on TV when I was young or whatever. Like, the sitcom guy. How dare someone be so crass about his
Trump's
murder.
Awful. Like, the tweets that he had about the FBI guy. Like, that Robert Mueller or whatever, who I didn't personally like that much either, but he's not very respectful about people.
No,
Trump's not known about it. He likes to keep it real, except for I don't think anything that's came out of his mouth has ever been real.
Yeah. And then I guess a few Democratic politicians are filing the paperwork to try to invoke the 25th Amendment, which won't work because like it basically JD Vance needs to like give the go ahead for that to even possibly work.
It's fucking awful the way the impeachment process works in America.
Well, that's the other thing is they're not even trying to impeach him.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? I remembered this just the other day. One of the times they tried before was literally because he didn't want to increase or give funding to Ukraine for a proxy war. So they were like punishing him for actually doing something that might have prevented a war. And they still failed at that as well. But now he's like given them 10 million impeachable offenses, and they're not even trying. Like, I guess they would probably still fail.
Because they say they don't have the votes.
Yeah, but they don't have the votes for this 25th Amendment shit either, and they're still doing it just as like a symbol. So it's just an excuse because they're because they like it. They like the fucking bloodshed. They're just as bad in that way.
I figure they might try to do more after the midterms, but it's basically impossible to get out of sitting an American president if they don't want to leave. I mean, the only reason Nixon left is because Nixon chose to leave.
I think if you have like a super majority on your side that's trying to get rid of the president, I think it's possible. But yeah, I mean, it's right now it probably wouldn't be.
And if we were a sane nation, when we got rid of the president, we would get rid of like the entire
administration.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
like this country does, and just, run it back.
No, we don't do sane shit like that ever in the United States. Here's the thing I mentioned. Let me see if you can hear this video. This fucking nutcase preacher ranting about Trump.
At least 30 generals have refused to execute Trump's orders to commit war crimes and send U.S. ground forces to Iran. At least 30. So far, 12 of them have been fired, including the commander of the U.S. Army Ground Forces. The rest of the generals will also be dismissed. Pretty much every commander who controls ground forces has to go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is pure, unadulterated fascism. If J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio have any smidgen of a conscience or any smidgen of a desire for future political office, they will assemble the cabinet, use the authority of the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, and remove Trump from office. After that, he must be arrested, prosecuted, convicted of war crimes, and sent to prison. We must end the lawlessness of Washington, D.C., and bring the rule of law back
This guy,
to America.
Chuck Baldwin, is like a conservative lunatic preacher. And he's speaking like a fucking, like, he's just, I don't know, it's just like, it makes the Democrats look so fucking pathetic in their rhetoric. Like, they can't even, like, do pretend, like, rhetoric well. Like, Chuck Schumer's, like, out there talking about, like, you didn't sign all the right paperwork to blow up the children's school in Iran. And then I try to get a sense of this Chuck Baldwin guy just through his Wikipedia, and yeah, he went to Liberty fucking University and Christian Bible College. Like, that's where he went.
But at least he thinks it's wrong that we bombed an elementary school.
He didn't say that in the video, but he just doesn't like the rule of law being flouted. But I mean, I don't know. I guess he's been kind of. I mean, he's like not even. He's left the Republican Party in like the year. Looks like he left in the year 2000, joined back up in 2011, and left again in 2015. And he's a part of the American Independent Party, which I think is party. It's far right. It's super far right. So like even this far right guy, racist ass far right preacher man from Bible University, is speaking with like this fiery leftist rhetoric about what needs to happen to Donald Trump, basically. And the so-called opposition party in America can't be fucked to raise their voice much at all.
Opposition party.
There's a few exceptions in there, I guess, whatever, but like barely. Like, I don't even know the last time I saw AOC raising a fucking fit about any of this stuff, but like, I don't know, maybe I just missed it or whatever. But
I feel like she made a fit pretty recently, but I can't remember.
It's just not enough. They're not doing it nearly enough. Even rhetorically, like I'm not even asking for them to actually even get things done. I know that's never going to happen. But like, even just in the way that they fucking bullshit and speak and like grandstand, they're so pathetic. They literally are like, they have to begin everything with like, well, Iran is an evil regime. It's like, you don't need to start that way. Why are you giving into like the propaganda from the other side? And I know the reason. It's because they actually believe it. Like they are far right as well. Anyway, that's my yelling about how Democrats are the same as Republicans. Kind of a throwback to beginning of the podcast times as well.
We never made those illusions.
Never.
The Democrats have always been good. We have always supported people who voted democratically. Like a vote for Biden and a vote for Kamala is the right thing to do. If you didn't do it, this is on you. This world's on you for making the choices you did.
So Italy, Germany, and Spain have all also caught the ire of Israel recently, much like South Korea.
Basically refused to like take part in it, right? That's my understanding. I've just skimmed about this stuff, but like I know that.
So like Italy, Giorgia Meloni, like relative, I forget exactly how, of Mussolini himself, Prime Minister of Italy. And Italy has been like super tight with Israel, like historically, especially the far right parties in Italy. But even they, much like this preacher man turning on Trump or whatever, have made an unprecedented U-turn, as it says here in Al Jazeera, and suspended a defense pact with Israel, which, of course, Israel has thrown a fit about, just like they did about the president of South Korea making a mild criticism. But a lot of this is not principled either. It has nothing to do with like free Palestine by any means. It's more just like Israel is fucking up the world economy by doing a second Holocaust in Lebanon as we speak, blowing up entire villages all in one fell swoop, which they've done in the past as well, which is just a completely insane thing. Like these world historic sites, entire villages just demolished with like not even bombed. Like they rigged the entire villages up with explosives and then post the explosions of them on social media and in their fucking disgusting little Telegram chats where you find the real shit that Israelis like to revel in, all the bloodshed. Anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought there, thinking about war crimes in Lebanon. But no, this is just about you're fucking up the world economy, which is fucking up our economy. Cut it out, basically. I believe that's what's behind this thing with Italy.
I mean, honestly, fucking up the world economy is probably the thing that will bring about World War III, if anything's going to bring about World War III.
I mean, when they did the 12-day war back in the summer, the first war with Iran in the last year, less than a year actually, I remember thinking they should block the Strait of Hormuz back then. And like it ended, I guess, quote unquote, ended like after 12 days. But I remember thinking like that's the best leverage they have. And yes, it's gonna hurt like a lot of economies around the world. But like that's the only way you fucking get people's true attention. And
fuck with their money.
Yeah. And so I don't even think it goes without saying I'm glad they're doing what they're doing. It's like the smartest move they could possibly make, barring, of course, Israel or the U.S. launching nukes because they can't think of anything else to do other than like actually abide by the 10-point plan that Iran has written up, which is totally reasonable one. But then also in Germany even more tight with Israel. Like next to America, Germany is the most like supportive nation of Israel. But even the Chancellor Merz himself has voiced some misgivings about what Israel's up to these days, including such withering criticisms as it's a big mistake to annex the West Bank, which is, against international law, of course. I mean, like I said, Israel always does whatever the fuck it wants. But yeah, even the Chancellor of Germany is saying, like, it's wrong what they're doing in Lebanon. I mean, like, we don't even have American politicians, Democrats, the opposition party, really calling that out. Like, it's basically off the radar of the United States that what's happening in Lebanon right now.
Yeah.
And it's completely insane. Did you hear about the thing where, like, the Israeli army is going around and telling, like, the Christian and, like, Druze populations in southern Lebanon that if they try to hide or house any Shia Muslims, that they'll be killed as well?
No.
Yeah. This is like 1-to-1 Anne Frank shit comparison. They're like going around looking for Shia Muslims, knocking on people's doors. Are you hiding any Muslims in there?
Searching the floorboards.
You know what? I mixed up the thing with the South Korean president and that piece of shit, the Israeli minister called an extremist. Yeah, he's demanding that the German chancellor apologize, and he said here. So yeah, Smotrich, he's like the finance minister. Yeah, it's just so it's so like inadequate. In like, I mean, this is like a Turkish outlet that I'm reading from, but like they call him an extremist and far right. It's like those words are just so fall short of what this fucking piece of shit actually is. But anyway, I get it at the same time. But the same way that they criticized our dear South Korean presidents, they basically the exact same thing to the German chancellor. He said, on the eve of Holocaust Remembrance Day, the German chancellor should bow his head and apologize 1,000 times on behalf of Germany, rather than daring to preach morality to us on how to conduct ourselves against the Nazis of our generation. Which I guess he's referring to Hezbollah as the Nazis of our generation.
Yep.
Says the fucking Nazi, one-to-one Nazi himself, Smotrich. And then he goes on to say, Israel will not accept instructions from hypocritical leaders in Europe, a continent that is once again losing its conscience and its ability to distinguish between good and evil. It's just the most extreme, like, tell it on yourself type shit, you know? And also it's hilarious that he wants to like separate himself like culturally from Europe. It's like, every single one of you fucking Israelis is from Europe. You're all Europeans. You're all Europeans. Stop pretending. The vast majority, yeah. I mean, there was a Jewish population in the region that, you know, coexisted at one point before the state of Israel came into being. But I digress. But speaking of Europeans having something to say, actually, I really wonder what Smotrich and the rest of the gang in Israel have to say about this. Did you see this short video of the Polish MP?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't have to play it because it's visual, but actually, I'm kind of curious what he said.
I'm surprised that there was no response about this video from the.
There must have been. I just didn't take the chance to look it up. No, it's all in Polish. I mean, I guess I'll just read what he said.
Our listeners know Polish.
Well, for those few who don't, he unfurls a big printout Israeli flag that has the Star of David replaced with a swastika, and he says Israel is the new Third Reich, and its flag should look exactly like this. What's this guy's name? I should shout him out. I didn't actually catch it. Konrad Berkowitz. His name makes me think he might be Jewish himself, which I guess could help him sort of beat the accusations of anti-Semitism, but it's like they're going to call him a self-hating Jew even if he is, so it doesn't even fucking matter. Anyway, I thought that was good. I'm glad he did that, and more people need to be doing shit like that, including all of our spineless fucking politicians in America. Also, I saw this quote-unquote old news. So when we were all on pins and needles waiting for the civilizational destruction that Trump promised and had a deadline set, did you see this shit, man? It's fucking wild. I think I posted it in the Discord. An Israeli
Launch
TV
a civilization
channel
countdown timer for Iran. Yeah, that makes sense.
They have Donald Trump's face, huge numbers counting down, and they're at like 8 hours. So they're like starting way in advance. And what I found out from, I found this by listening to a Gray Zone live stream, and Max Blumenthal pointed out that this Channel 13 and in Israel is actually considered like the liberal Israeli news network.
Oh wow!
like the left leaning. He said like, oh, Channel 13, they're more like mainstream. Like Channel 14 is the one that's like just a straight up Likud party like mouthpiece. But yeah, this is like the one that's supposed to be more fair and balanced. And they're like giddily counting down to the destruction of all of 93 million people in Iran, which is basically what Trump promised.
That's so messed up. I have like at least one friend from Iran, and he's a super nice guy. That's what makes me assume that everyone from Iran's super nice. Meet one person, they're super nice. They must all be nice, right? Why does people want to do this to each other?
I met an Israeli guy when I went solo traveling to Nepal, and he was pretty cool. He hated his own government, but I don't think that makes all of Israel cool.
That's a good point. I guess I've met one or two nice Americans.
I actually there was a weird thing that happened on that trip. Like I ended up meeting this. I met this Korean guy and then this Israeli guy. Like the very first day I was there, and like we became friendly like right away. And I ended up like spending the rest of my trip hanging out with this Israeli guy. But he said he got like an email or something on Facebook or something that was like, and I guess this is just this thing that Israelis do around the world where they just will like have meetups like so basically he's like, do you want to get a free dinner at this Jewish dinner thing? And he said, if anyone asks you, say you're half Jewish, because like they don't want non-Jews there. So I like undercover went into this like Jewish dinner event in Nepal, and the whole time I was like, there was a lot of Hebrew being spoken, like especially when they were getting like really into the, I guess, like political shit. And the guy I was like hanging out with, he was like looked disgusted the whole time. And like he ended up just being like, let's get the fuck out of here. Like we didn't stay very long at all. And he explained, like he just translated to me like all the shit they were saying and like how it just disgusted him so much. But
Was
I
the dinner
completely
good?
forgot. Yeah. Because they were just like, they'll take any opportunity to just like rail against Arabs and shit. That's what he said they were basically talking about, like in Hebrew, was like, the way these fucking people talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did meet one of the good ones once as well. I guess there's that aspect to the story too. He was a poet traveling like I was in Nepal.
Never been there. Some friends of mine have been there, like you, Peter.
That was pretty cool.
I've heard it's cool. I don't travel enough. Nowadays, I feel guilty about traveling. And I feel like soon it'll be unaffordable to travel. It's already like unaffordable, but, oil and shit.
Yeah, I don't even know how I managed to pull off the reasonably priced flight to the US that I got. I mean, I basically had to just break it up into two separate flights, and yeah, but anyway.
Timing.
That too. Should we talk about Melania's weird ass speech? What do you think?
We can skip it, I think. I mean,
I'll just for posterity's sake, I will mention that this weird ass speech happened, and it basically it's really the bizarre timing of it, because like nobody was asking about this. Like she just decides to come out and make this statement about how she doesn't know shit about Epstein, which is like easily
debunked.
disproved and debunked. Yeah. I mean,
there's way too many pictures of all of them together.
And not just pictures, there's that email to Ghislaine, which is in the article, the Substack thing you sent me, where she's like, hey, girlfriend, what's up? Let's hang out. Like, love Melania. But it's more than that. There's also, like, fairly substantiated rumors that she was Jeffrey Epstein's, fuck thing before she was just kind of passed on to Trump. There seems to be a lot of credible evidence that she was essentially trafficked to Trump himself. So anyway, it just seemed like she's like trying to like get out ahead of something that might be coming down the line here soon. And apparently it seems that this happened without Trump's knowledge, which is very interesting to me, that she would.
It's interesting to me too.
That she's that sort of desperate to jump ship, that she would like do this without the blessing of the man himself. And I imagine it pissed him off, because all it did was, I mean, it's not like people really forgot about the Epstein stuff, but it has been sort of.
It brought eyes back to it.
Yeah, for sure. So that was some interesting news of the week.
It's because her friend was deported, Amanda Ungre, or however you say her name. Friend used loosely, but and her friend was pissed off and was like, I'm going to expose all of you motherfuckers. But no exposure has happened so far.
Yeah, and what was the fucking creep who like trafficked her?
The model agency guy whose name I'm
It doesn't matter. They probably talked about this shit on TrueAnon. I'm not even sure. I haven't been listening for a while.
No, I haven't listened in a while either.
In any case, something fishy is going on.
Zimpoli, right? Zimpoli.
That's right. And he came out and said, like, Trump is innocent and whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
and
he also said he didn't know Epstein that well, but they were planning on opening a modeling agency together at one point, which is, something to do with someone you don't know that well.
Right. The other thing he said, too, that I'm just trying to get pulled from my ruined memory here is, like, he said the follow-up question or whatever from whatever press to him saying, like, I didn't really know Epstein. They're like, you're all over the files. Like, your name is significantly in those emails. And he said, well, you don't want to be a loser. Like, anybody who's anybody is in the files. Like, that's just how, like, much these people don't give a shit, like, just how, like,
God's chosen
brazen
people.
And corrupt these fucking people are.
Nothing bad's ever going to happen to any of them. Which hurts me, but I'm
speaking of nothing bad ever happening to anyone. Chuck Kirk.
It should be public. It should be quick. It should be televised.
Chuck Kirk, famously, nothing bad has happened to him. This comes courtesy of your home state, Tennessee, the Charlie Kirk Act.
Oh yeah, they're banning student walkouts, which is kind of crazy. But I know that it kind of stems from sometimes when I'm looking at my hometown news, there's been a lot of walkouts in my area. I don't know if other areas in Tennessee also had them, but like from Washington County area and like the high school I went to at another high school, they've had like multiple walkouts of the students disagreeing with current politics, and like it's just a cesspool of local comments being like, these students just don't understand the world. They need to get behind what the president's doing. They're all just going to grow up to be losers. Like, no, I'm glad that they're mad. It's good that students are just deciding, no, fuck this. I don't want to participate in society. You got to learn that early. But and they've been protected because, even students have the right to protest, but this law that wants to take that away.
Yeah, how does this Charlie Kirk Act even play into it? Like,
oh, they're just saying it was the Charlie Kirk Act.
Oh, see, I thought it was like already an established thing, and now they're just applying it to student walkouts as well. Because there's like a previous, I don't know. Representative Gino Bolso has proposed the Charlie Kirk Act, an omnibus education bill that would require colleges and universities to adopt the same freedom of speech policy as the University of Chicago, ban student walkouts, and allow schools to deny leadership positions to LGBTQ plus students. I love how this is mixed with freedom of speech policies, though.
Well, of course it is. Charlie Kirk, famous for freedom of speech. And debates.
Just the list of things. Freedom of speech. We must agree to adopt freedom of speech policies. Ban student walkouts. I mean, student walkout is, I guess it's freedom of expression, not speech in particular. But yeah. And then also just, being able to deny gay folks leadership positions. And it is also, this same person also filed legislation making September 10th Charlie Kirk Day. Nice.
Yep. Fuck Charlie Kirk. Fuck that guy. I'm glad he's dead. Sorry, I've never got to say it on the podcast. I just wanted to get it out there in case anyone wondering what my opinion of Charlie Kirk is. That's it. Though I barely knew him.
Famous words of his.
But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year.
Especially if it's children.
Yes. What's the other good one? Here's some more Chuck Kirk.
Of course you should be able to use whips against foreigners that are coming into your country. Why is that controversial?
And I said it before and I'll say it again. I think the most fitting last words of his besides whatever he really said was his last words, was something about gang violence. The more apt, appropriate final words of Chuck Kirk would have been when he was musing on how public executions should go down in America.
It should be public. It should be quick. It should be televised.
Hang on a second, man. I'm going to piss and then we can wrap it up, all right?
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back. It's the second time while doing the podcast and having to pee that I've thought, that is a surreal amount of urine coming out of my body. What's going on here?
I think that constantly about myself.
I get especially dehydrated these days, especially when, talking a lot. So I end up having to take piss breaks at least twice usually. This time was only once. I did 3 last time, I think.
I think whatever medicine I'm on right now is messing with me because usually I have to go to the bathroom a ton, but I think the cold medicine they gave me is doing weird stuff to my body.
Huh.
I gotta go get more cold medicine tomorrow though. I'm still sick. This sucks. I bet if Charlie Kirk never got sick. That's why they had to take him out with a bullet. It's probably perfect bill of health like Donald Trump. I was thinking, when I briefly thought that they really did just let DoorDashers deliver to the Oval Office, I was like, dude, that's the way. That's the way to assassinate these fuckers. Gotta become a DoorDash driver.
Yeah, now you're cooking with gas. I like the way you think. I don't want to keep you too long, man, but I feel like we have to talk slightly about this J.D. Vance shit. Did you see any of this?
Not a ton.
The TP USA event. Let's see. Maybe I'll just mention what he said about Epstein. Although he said several hilarious things, but it was during the Q&A. Well, the most hilarious thing of all was that this event he did at some college town in Georgia. It was supposed to be I think he was the only kind of draw, the only guest was the vice president of the United States. But did you see the picture of the fucking stadium? How few people were in it?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
If he came to your university when you were a student, would you have bothered with it?
No, but I don't think it wasn't limited just to university students either. They were trying to get young people to come out. They wanted to frame it that way. But the tickets were free and just nobody was interested. And he said a bunch of stupid shit, including,
oh my gosh, I'm reading the Epstein part where where he's answering a question about the emails, and he's like, the president said he knew of Jeffrey. He's a scumbag, but what you see in those emails, that Jeffrey Epstein hated Donald Trump and Donald Trump hated Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, one of those emails is about Donald narking on Jeffrey to the local sheriff, saying, this guy's a scumbag. You should go to Epstein and pick him up. So when the president says this is a hoax, he's not saying it's a hoax that Epstein was a scumbag. He's saying that it's a hoax that Epstein was connected to powerful people. A hoax that Epstein was connected to powerful people. Hoax.
It's unbelievable shit.
He's saying this democratic ideal that somehow he was Epstein's democratic ideal, best friend, that is a hoax. And if you look at the emails, it's obvious that Epstein hated Donald Trump. And by the way, one of the best signs for whether you're a good person or not, for whether you're a decent human being, is if the worst people in the world hate your guts. The fact that Jeffrey Epstein hates Donald Trump is a good thing for Donald Trump. I mean, I've looked at some of the emails. I have seen nothing that indicate they hate each other.
Oh, well, there is for sure, but it's not that they hate each other. It's that Jeffrey Epstein turned on Trump at a certain point, which only reinforces the idea that Trump had him fucking killed, because Trump tried to give him a position in the administration. This is all fact. He didn't want anything to do with it. There's a bunch of emails, where he talks massive shit about Trump, and also says that Jeffrey Epstein says of himself, I'm the only person that could take him down. Obviously alluding to the fucking compromat because every goddamn place Jeffrey Epstein owned was filled to the brim with hidden cameras and shit that were just constantly recording. But yeah, I mean, this JD Vance thing is just so pathetic. I mean, come on. He's not connected to powerful people. Trump tried to be a white hat pedophile and turned him in. He went undercover because he wanted to free all the sex trafficked women, like his own wife. I mean, it's just obviously so absurd. But if you see the video, I found it kind of funny how this young kid who asked the question, I mean, it's very like polite and respectful, but he's also like onto something about how like it's ridiculous that this shit is not being investigated actively
Yeah.
with the DOJ. And JD Vance's whole response is just this complete nonsense. And this was the final question and final answer of the whole event. Like it ends on this note of like,
Yep.
oh man. And he also just he said some wild shit about immigrants and whatever, and how I can't even remember now. We should end on a positive note. I mean, it is positive to make fun of JD Vance, but it's also disgusting that we have to remember that all these Epstein fucks will just walk free probably forever. Some people are fighting back, though, against the Epstein class, including that guy in Ontario, California.
Not to be confused with Canada.
Yes, when I looked this up, though, all I kept seeing was Ontario man, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, this was in Canada? And then I read into the article, it's like Ontario, California.
Everyone knows the famous Ontario, California. Way more famous than that place up north.
Yeah, it's right up there with Bakersfield or Barstow, where someone once said,
"You see what God just did to us, man?"
I just wanted to play that new drop. I found the connection there.
Why did he burn down the warehouse?
It'd be funny to say it was unclear. His motivations are really unclear. Now, if you let's actually just listen to the video. I think it's short enough to where, it's like a minute long.
You know, if you're not going to pay us enough to fucking live or afford to live, at least pay us enough not to do this shit.
Ooh, that sounds terrible. Too loud. Anyway, he does repeat that several times in the video, but we don't need to listen to the whole thing. I'll just kind of skip ahead.
I felt the same way about
You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had
As
to
the
do was pay
flames
us
are
enough
rising.
to fucking live.
He's still in the warehouse, lighting all the toilet paper on fire.
All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
This is a big ass warehouse too.
I want more of it to happen. It's a little scary, but I want more people to be burning down warehouses. Am I calling for violence?
Yeah, but that's fine. I do it all the time. You know, I'm an edgelord. I got permanently banned from Reddit for actually not doing anything wrong. But anyway, whatever. See previous.
Yeah, that's what they all
about
say.
that.
I know about your ban from Reddit. They messaged me, not Reddit. When they did, they're like, you know this guy. I was like, I've never heard of him.
Someone threw a Molotov cocktail at Sam Altman's house.
They were just following a risotto recipe.
That's right. So the thing is it did seem like this was like this is like a growing trend of burning down warehouses in a sort of pro-labor manner. But I unfortunately, I saw a video that also like wanted that to be true, but they looked up some facts, and apparently between 2020 and 2024, fire departments in the United States responded to an average of 1,544 warehouse structure fires annually, roughly 4 fires every single day.
Yeah,
so,
they're pretty common.
There were some other fires that happened around the same time, and there was one in Bakersfield as well, which I mentioned. I did put this singular comment that someone left on one of the articles about the intentional warehouse fire, which might actually be kind of hard to read on the document. I see you kind of having it. Says,
I just refuse to wear my glasses because I lost them, and I don't feel like getting another pair. More aggressive crackdown on the homeless. might help with the random fires set in abandoned buildings or just large warehouses.
One upvote, one downvote.
A more aggressive crackdown on the homeless. At first, I read that as a more aggressive crackdown on the homies because my eyes were playing tricks on me.
I mean, kind of the same sentiment, really. And the person's name is Common Sense period 1, and sense is spelled SENCE. So shout out to commonsense.1 for their I think I have it cut off, like I just have the screenshot, but I think this was just on like a really local, like Ontario, California newspaper website. So, that's the answer to the problem, is a crackdown on those fucking homeless people, even though the guy was clearly housed, I would assume, and angry about the inability, or I guess the ability to just barely maintain housedness. Who knows? Maybe he was homeless.
Yeah, maybe. A lot of people work and don't have homes these days. It seems to be a trend, for what I understand.
Yeah, but they have cars, so you can't feel that bad for them. They sleep in their car. It's fine.
Yeah, camper cars. Without the camper.
Right.
But what is a car but a tent with wheels?
I think you and I actually talked about some article that was like going out into like the rise of people living out of their cars, and like,
yeah, we did.
But it was like there was some article or something praising Walmart for letting people park at Walmart without being customers. Yep. So like Walmart parking lots are like a huge center of basically homeless people living out of their cars at this point.
But I think they've cracked down on it since Walmart went from being 24 hours to being like a shop that closes.
Oh, really? God, yeah. I guess of course they did. But we can end on a nice note. Mexico's socialist president. Even just if we ended the headline there, that would be a piece of good news. But no, there's more. To roll out universal health care. Oh, I do have some bummer shit about Mexico, but you know what? I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, save it for later.
I was going to follow up the good news with
the fact that they ran out of tacos forever. Global taco shortage.
No, that the U.S. is using Mexico as its quote garbage sink is what a UN special rapporteur says. The U.S.
Well, you know whose fault that is, right? I can tell you exactly. It's China's fault, because China stopped taking our garbage.
They did stop taking our garbage, didn't they?
Yeah, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Time's a flat circle. I don't know.
We outsourced garbage to a lot of places. I remember also maybe talking with you about that in an old episode at one point. I think Philippines is is a hot spot for American trash these days, ever since China started refusing us.
I'm actually very surprised the current administration does not just like decided to send all the garbage to space. It seems like something they would do.
Too expensive, man. I mean, it does. It seems like something that at least Trump would like say he's going to do and then not follow through on. We're going to send it to the sun, folks. It's fine. It burns right up. Launching garbage on our nuclear warheads into space towards the sun. Why not? On that note, I suppose we can generally recommend some stuff as is tradition. Do you have anything in mind? Would you like to go first or last or whatever? I have something.
I'll go last this time.
It's kind of a weird style of recommendation. I guess I'm sort of recommending 3 movies that all have the same title.
Okay.
Called The Housemaid.
I've seen at least one of them.
Which one did you see?
Was there like a 70s Korean one?
60s, yeah. 1960 Korean film called The Housemaid. So I recommend that one. That's a really good film. It's like extremely
really
influential. Good. It basically was like the inspiration for Parasite, is what Bong Joon-ho has said.
Yep.
It follows what is now like kind of a laughable like Lifetime movie trope of like the evil Spider Woman moves into the house under the guise of being a nanny or a housemaid and like, sleeps with the husband and takes over shit and starts causing all kinds of mayhem or whatever. But in 1960, it was a more novel idea, and it's also not as like stereotypical as I just described there either. Great film. But what made me think of it, and there's a 2010 remake Korean film that's just like it's just like a modern day retelling of the same story. That's good. It's not as good as the
I didn't see it. I
1960.
remember when it was coming out, but I remember for some reason I never got around to watching it.
The main thing I remember from it is there's one very weirdly erotic sex scene in that movie that I was like not expecting for some reason. I don't know why. It was like it felt scandalous. I don't know. Just like a lot of Korean movies from that even 2010, I feel like weren't doing like that explicit of stuff. I mean, it's not even super explicit. It's just like very highly erotically charged or whatever. But anyway, reason enough to check that one out too. Why not? I'm recommending all three. So 1960 version, 2010 version, and then shockingly to myself, I enjoyed this new American movie called The Housemaid, which I had like written off on site as like, oh, are they really just doing that trope as a real movie? Like a real Hollywood movie? They're going to do like a Lifetime style movie? And of course they didn't. They like turn it on its head a little bit. It's a Paul Feig movie, which I also didn't realize when I kind of wrote it off as like looking kind of stupid. Also, like Sydney Sweeney kind of pisses me off these days.
Yeah, me too.
Just because of political shit, but like, whatever. It's just, there are a lot of actors I can watch and enjoy that I disagree with on politics, and she's fine in it. I don't think she's even like that great of an actress or whatever, but like, it's just like a fine like thriller with a bunch of twists, and it turns the genre like on its head a bit. And like, once you're a certain amount of your way through the film, the twist might be a little obvious, but I still enjoyed it. It was just like a fun kind of dumb time at the movies, even though I just watched it at home for free. So yes, all three The Housemaids.
Yeah,
I recommend.
I'm having a hard time on what I want to recommend. Part of me just wants to recommend not getting sick, and a great policy to not get sick is not be around 16 to 30 kids at a time because they hate washing their hands. But
you want to try to be an anti-Epstein in that way.
My recommendation is to wash your hands. For the love of God, wash your fucking hands. I don't know. I feel like I've watched a lot of stuff recently, but I've recommended too many animes on this fucking podcast. There are some good ones this season. So, check those out. Check out the new season of animes. Just the whole thing. A lot of new shows released. They're pretty good.
What's the first one that comes to your mind if I ask you what's your favorite of the newest ones?
The two newest ones. I've got two that are real closely tied. There's Nippon Sangoku, which is actually pretty cool. It's like about it's set in the future after the collapse of Japan due to World War III. And Japan's kind of turned into like a feudal warring state again. And it's animated really beautifully, but it's a revenge story. Like it's a revenge story of without getting too many spoilers, the main character is motivated to try to change the system that he finds himself living in after a tragic event happens to him. And the other one I really like is Witch Hat Adler, which is just like kind of beautiful, kind of has a Studio Ghibli vibe, and it's about a girl who wants to be a witch. It's pretty cute.
Nice. Sounds downright wholesome somehow. Or maybe
it
not.
is. It's just really gorgeous. Other things I might recommend. This one I'll go with the heated rivalry recommendation thing. I guess I have 3 recommendations. I've been watching the Interview with the Vampire TV show, with Yane, and I really like it. It's really well acted. And you
I
got good
didn't
reviews.
know that existed.
It's good. It's got like great critical reviews, but I don't know how popular it is. They're getting ready to do a third season. But I enjoy it. Even if liking Interview with a Vampire makes me some type of weird edgelord boy. But, old habits die hard.
I mean, I remember liking the 90s movie, although it's been a really long time since I've seen it.
I will say the show
are they
is
related?
much better than the 90s movies. Yeah, they're both based on the same book.
Okay.
The show's better than the movies. And I liked the movie. I don't like dissing the movie. The show's just better than the movie. It's good. I think you would like it quite a bit, maybe. I don't know. It's fun.
I've got all three.
It's fun to watch.
All three of the recommendations you didn't want to make all pulled up here for the future.
Yeah, I'm just
washing your
going
hands.
through one of those. I'm embarrassed to make recommendations these days. What if people don't like my taste? Why would I care if people don't like my taste?
Yeah, you shouldn't really care or worry about that.
No, I know.
The biggest thing.
All right. The
biggest thing I
is
have
what?
to decide is which hand washing video I link to when I put washing your hands as your first recommendation in the show notes.
Man, it's a really
Googled
fucking good recommendation.
Hands. It is.
More people should do it.
And you're supposed to do it for way longer than most people do, including myself.
Like the birthday song, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't always make it through the whole birthday song either.
It says 20 seconds here, and then happy birthday twice. I guess happy birthday... Is it only 10 seconds to sing happy birthday? I guess it depends on how fast you do it.
Yeah.
Anyway... what do I do at this point in finishing the podcast? We went very long. Jason, thank you for staying up late.
No problem.
Unlike, I mean, I know you don't have to get up early or anything for work, but
I always wake up early, but it's not because I want to or plan to. It's just
same.
It's just my body hates me and says it's time to wake up, motherfucker.
I have the same problem. I always tell Haywan I'm jealous because she can just sleep and sleep and sleep.
God, Yang can too. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I was gonna say if I cut back on drinking, I sleep better. It's true, I sleep better, but I still don't really sleep much longer. But yeah. Anyway, trying to wind this down, and I keep dragging it out longer.
Yeah, I should go soon.
I'm
going to wake up early and go to my clinic to see the doctor and get more medicine. But you should go to, where are we going to? Not Patreon.
The show description where you can see links to. You can go to see links to the recommendations and links to the Discord server that we have, where we post things. People post things at us. We discuss, we post. It's fun. Check it out if you haven't already. Join the Discord. Also, Tim, who's not here, has another podcast that we always shout out at the end of every episode at violentpeople.co. It's called Q&TR, also in the show description. I think that's it. Unless you got any more recommendations or plugs?
No plugs.
Sanitary techniques.
Stay safe out there, everyone.
Stay safe out there, folks. And as always, as Thurston Moore always shouts from a hotel room window somewhere in Western Europe in 1991, the year punk broke.
You're human! You are human!
Good night. Good luck. Good morning, Viet. That's it.
All right. Talk to you later.
See sunrise, the sounds in my head. Feet shoot up like old
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?